First of all, man, fantastic job on this film. Like,
thank you.
You brought me through such a range of emotion and I felt literally like I was going through Shuri's journey with her.
That's
of
big.
Grief. Man,
That's
it was
big.
incredible.
Yeah.
First question I have for you though is the legacy of Chadwick and T'Challa. It's felt throughout the film. Can you talk to me about how his presence kind of permeated the set and production throughout the course of it?
Easy. Look, man, one of the first meetings I had, right, in pre-production, my AD, Don Sparks, who was not with us on the first Black Panther, we had the great Lisa Satriano on that one, but I worked with Don on Creed, in Philadelphia, and Don's black man, and we jump on this meeting, and it's me and a producer, a couple other folks. And first thing he says is, "Hey, I'm working on this call sheet." And he says, "I'm numbering the cast, and I figure we should leave number one. We should leave number one for
blank.
Chad.
Yeah,
we leave that blank, you know." And I had to turn my Zoom camera off because I got a little choked up, you know, at the concept of that. But you know, he affected the world, man. You know, and we were. When you experience trauma, oftentimes like it happens like a bomb, and like sometimes people are right there in that blast radius. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us were there in the radius of it. We knew him. We worked with him for years. You know, forged a bond with him that can only be forged through working on something that everybody cares about passionately. You know what I'm saying? But he affected people that were not in the blast radius too. You know, you know what I mean? It affected everybody.
Everybody.
You know, so his presence was, when you talk about making a Black Panther movie, his presence was right there on that call sheet. You know what I'm saying? Even down to like the fine details. You know, we all carry him with us. You know, and we always will.
I mean, the presence is still felt in the movie. Like,
oh yeah,
all the
big
way
time.
through.
It's a character.
Through.
Yeah,
exactly.
The character that he played, T'Challa, still felt like he's there.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly right, man.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about the difference in Namor and Shuri, about how they are as leaders and protectors of their nation?
Great question. Many themes in this movie. I don't want to like get into all of them because that would suck. But one thing we would talk about is this idea of I'll put it to you like this. In the first Panther film, there was a big conversation around innovation and tradition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like there were traditionalists and there were innovators. You know, in this one, we tried to be less focused on that concept, even though that's still there. But in this one, I really thought about this concept of intelligence versus wisdom. Like what it means to be smart versus what it means to be wise.
Right.
You know, and which one wins when those things come into contact with each other. And it's something to be said for wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like wisdom comes with life lived, you know. And Namor is a character who's very old. You know, like in a human sense, he's been alive a long time.
Right.
So he's very wise. And sure, he comes into contact with this guy who's much older than he looks, and she's used to being smarter than everybody she's around, and maybe you could argue that she is smarter than Namor, but she's not wiser than him.
Right.
You know, like and wisdom is a powerful thing. She's also dealing with wisdom from her mother. You know, and I think that made the film very interesting, and that's a big difference between them. You know, Namor's lived a lot more life than she has. You know, and has been less protected, right, than she has been. Talokan is in many ways more exposed than Wakanda is, even though the world knows about Wakanda. You know, there's this idea of vulnerability. You know, and what that can, can mean.
Absolutely.
You know.
You know what? I want to ask you about Talokan for a second because I love the grounded take on it, the grounded mythology that it has. Mm-hmm. What went into the decision to really focus that on like Mexican and Latin American culture rather than like being like this mystical place like Atlantis?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Like, it's a lot of historically a lot of myth like internationally
Right.
About this idea of a hidden place in the water, lost continents and things like that. You could go on into a Google wormhole looking at this because I think that because we live in a society that's kind of like very much permeated by Western thinking and Western ideas. That Greco-Roman concept of Atlantis, Plato's concept is it kind of permeates
Right.
our consciousness. But there are other concepts, and because that concept has been kind of displayed so much cinematically and very detailed, very well. I dug Aquaman and really loved Disney's Atlantis. You know what I mean? Like that came out when we were younger. And I wanted to make something that could, that could stand in like the cinematic pantheon beside those films,
Sure.
and be different. You know what I'm saying? But still truthful.
I love the take. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. So that was what we were after. Like we were after something that felt truthful and real, and we can take a deep cultural dive. Felt like it was on theme. Felt like they belonged in a world with Wakanda. That was believable, but also felt like myth. Felt like people could see themselves in it. That's what we're after. I don't know if we accomplished it.
Absolutely,
yeah.
you did, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, look, one of the scenes that actually touched me the most was the scene between Angela and Denai. And
yeah.
my God, what a powerful scene!
Yeah.
Like, I really felt that scene.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, can you talk to me about what was the most impactful scene for you to shoot?
It's funny. I trying to think about stuff like that, man. To force comparison, like best favorite. It's tough, bro. And they all were impactful in their own ways. That scene you mentioned was special. It was a special scene.
You feel it.
Yeah, two really great actors that identify very closely with their characters. That scene is two people who love each other. Who really care about each other personally. But in personal and professional is interwoven.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you get that in politics, you get that in the military.
Family sometimes.
And you get that in family, you get that in art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like as filmmakers, you'll see actors working on a movie. Next thing you know, they dating. You know
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And just because it's long hours, you're remote on location, and you end up becoming close with these people. You got no other choice but to. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that can get complicated. So in that scene, the queen has to make an executive decision that's very hurtful for her.
Right.
And it's tough for her. And it obviously it's tough for the general.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So the scene's a tough one to watch. But man, are they good?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bro, just like this movie, top to bottom, it's so good, man. I really appreciate what you did with it, and it's so touching. But the action's on point,
right on, bro.
Fantastic, bro.
Yeah, we all worked hard, bro. So it means a lot.